Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today, we're going to be talking about some big news out of the LCS and the competitive League of Legends scene. We have maybe some new updates for Nemesis and his situation regarding the future. Obviously, there's been a ton of question marks regarding him this offseason, whether or not Fnatic was going to be able to keep him, whether or not Fnatic wanted to keep him, whether or not he was going to stay in the LEC, come to the LCS, what he was going to do. And then for a while, it seemed like he wasn't going to be on a team. He announced that he wasn't going to be playing in the LEC or the LCS for the spring split. Maybe he was going to try and boot camp in Korea, maybe live with LS for a little while. There was a ton of different weird things going on, and a ton of different rumors and speculations and stuff. But today we might have some new updates and things, which might add some stuff to the fire. But before we get into that, real quick, I just want to mention a word from our sponsor today, which is Draft Buff. This is a fantasy esports website and app where you can build a fantasy team of the best players in esports. It is super fun, easy to use app and website that can help you play fantasy esports with your friends or with people you don't even know, because they have new leagues starting up and running all the time. They support your favorite esports like League of Legends, Rainbow Six, and Call of Duty League. They have fantasy leagues where you can play head to head all season long. They have Royale where you get to draft on a budget, and they have Draft Pass where you can earn avatars and taunts to show who's the boss. Obviously, we have the LCS, LEC, LCK season, all that stuff coming up in the near future. So if you want to play fantasy esports, definitely check out Draft Buff. When you get signed up, use code IAMGERM. I would appreciate it a ton, and so would they. With that being said, here we go, getting into today's video. From the Twitter account of Nemesis, we had this was December 24th, a couple days ago. He tweeted out this GIF that all the people have been tweeting out when they signed with a new team. This contract, it's official. So at first, people were like, "Oh, Nemesis is signing with a team. That's crazy. Well, what's going to happen?" But I tried to hear what's going on. I tried to see if anybody had any rumors or updates or anything, and I couldn't really find any information, and nobody else really had any information either. So some people were just kind of writing it off as like a troll or like as a meme. So I kind of wanted to wait before I made a video about it, before I gave any updates, because I was like, what does this mean? Is Nemesis just messing around? Are him and LS trolling? Is this just a joke? Is this something real? And I really didn't know. And again, it's 3 days later at this point, and we still haven't really heard any official updates or anything from anyone. But there is some more to this story. As we scroll down in the replies a little bit, there's always this McDonald's stuff with him and Crown Shot, which is super funny. But then obviously we had this tweet from LS, which is the American flag, which gets people thinking, oh, is he coming to the LTS? What team is that going to be? Does that make sense? And we start thinking about the teams that are available. The teams that I had been kind of thinking about for him earlier on in the year were like 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses, perhaps TSM. But obviously TSM's full, 100 Thieves is full, and Evil Genius is the one team where there is rumors and speculation and stuff that Jiizuke is going to be returning, but we still haven't got any official word on that. So if it is an American flag, if LS and Nemesis are not trolling, perhaps he's coming over to the LCS, perhaps he has signed with Evil Geniuses. But again, this was December 24th, it's December 27th now, and we still haven't heard anything. But then we got these tweets from Raz, who is, I believe he's the Academy head coach for 100 Thieves now, but he has been like a caster, analyst, that type of stuff for the LPL, I believe. So he has some inside knowledge. He talks to people behind the scenes stuff. He knows what's going on. He tweeted out journal entry 101, day 200. Still no announcement of the EG mid laner, so he's waiting to hear stuff. He is also saying that there has not been an official announcement, even though people believe it's going to be Jiizuke, because Evil Geniuses has not tweeted out thank you Jiizuke, like a goodbye to him, when they did that for all their other players, like Huni, Zazel, Bang, Kumo, all those guys. They moved on for them. They said thank you. So it seemed like they were still hanging on to Jiizuke. It still seemed like he was going to be their mid laner for the next season. But yeah, I mean, I guess there hasn't been like an official tweet announcement from them announcing their starting lineup for the next season, which seems a little suspicious because it's December 27th now. We're like 3 weeks away from lock-in. Scrims and practices and all that stuff are starting very soon. I mean, like the holiday season is over at this point. So it was really weird. So then somebody replied to him and said, is there any chance Nemesis is on EG? And Raz said, yeah, which was pretty surprising to me that he thinks there is still a shot. Again, a guy that is inside like organizations, inside teams, behind the scenes type guy who knows people and says that it is still possible. Again, he's not confirming, he's not saying it's happening, but he's saying the option is still on the table, which is surprising because again, what we had heard from Nemesis prior was that he wasn't going to be playing the LCS, that he was not going to be playing in the LEC. So for just a few weeks later, that things have changed this much to where Nemesis has become an option, at least to be coming to the LCS, to be coming to a different team like this, is really interesting to me, and it is surprising, and I was surprised to hear it, but I am happy because again, Nemesis is a good enough player to be playing in the LEC. He's a good enough player to be playing in the LCS. Yes, he did not have the best year for Fnatic. Yes, he did not have the best summer split, summer playoffs, or Worlds performance for Fnatic. But that does not mean he is not a top 10 mid laner in the LEC. That does not mean he is not a top 10 mid laner in the LCS. That does not mean there's not players in the LEC and the LCS right now with starting spots that are not as good as Nemesis. I think he has shown enough promise, talent, and stuff in the past to definitely deserve a second chance, to deserve a second shot. And just because he can't cut it on Fnatic, who's trying to be one of the best teams in the world, does not mean he can't cut it on like a middle of the pack LCS team or an LCS team that's just trying to make it to Worlds, that would be happy with qualifying, that would be happy with just getting out of groups, something like that. And if Nemesis is able to regain some of the previous form we've seen from him, he could become that type of player that could be good enough to perform on a top tier team in the LCS or LEC once again. Because just because he had one bad year, one bad split, one bad Worlds performance doesn't mean he's done for it. And you know, an offseason where you are determined and focused and ready to just practice and grind and get better, especially once you're coming off such a bad split and stuff, where he knows the things he needs to work on. He knows that if he puts up another split or another year like that he's not going to be a professional player for very much longer. And sometimes that fuel, that motivation, that fire under your ass can really help get people going. So I think it would be awesome for Nemesis. I think he deserves the shot. I think the team should give him a chance. And then when you look at Evil Geniuses, this is a very, very solid roster. They have some big playmakers. They went and signed Impact. Going to be a beast in the top lane for them. I know people say that he's like this weak side top laner. He plays tanks, blah, 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 blah. Impact led the LCS in solo kills in 2020 in the summer split. So this is a guy who can still do it all. He can play strong side, he can play weak side, he can play carries, he can play tanks. He is just great, and that's a big pickup for Evil Geniuses. Sven Skaren, still a very, very solid jungler. Maybe not the MVP that he once used to be in his career, but still very, very good. Ignar, another big pickup for Evil Geniuses. Huge playmaker out of the support role. He is going to be awesome for them. I do think Deathly is a little bit of a weak link, but if you could get a mid laner as good as Nemesis, and then Deathly is your worst player, I don't think that's the end of the world. Definitely could possibly be serviceable. He could be a solid player if he is your fifth best player. You know, if he's your clear weak point that you can just kind of cover up and stuff. Especially because I don't know exactly how important the AD carry role and position is going to be in Season 11. I know the role has been changing a ton over the last couple of years. The playstyle is way, way different. What you need out of an AD carry is way, way different than maybe what it once used to be. And I'm not saying Deathly is going to be like good at Worlds or anything like that, but he could get you through an LCS season. He could get you to the point where you're competing for a 3 seed in the LCS. But I just think Jiizuke and Deathly together were too big of question marks for me. But if they're able to shore up one of those with Nemesis and then Deathly's your only question mark, Evil Geniuses all of a sudden turns into a very, very scary team. They are a team that I could see passing up 100 Thieves, that I could see passing up TSM, because those teams all have question marks too. 100 Thieves, you don't know exactly how good Demonte is going to be in the mid lane. Is he going to stack up to other mid laners? Is he going to be good enough? Are Huhi and FBI going to be able to build off of what they were able to do last season? Or did they just kind of have one hot split, one hot playoff run? And then TSM obviously has some big question marks. Lost, Huni, how good is Sword Art going to come over and be, especially moving over to a new region and stuff. And then all of a sudden, yeah, you could have Evil Geniuses as the third best team in the LCS. And you could have them competing for a world spot and headed back to Worlds, and Nemesis having an opportunity to prove himself in the LCS playoffs on the world stage once again. So it could really be the best of both worlds for both Evil Geniuses and Nemesis. So I think this makes a ton of sense. I did think this was pretty crazy. I do think this is pretty interesting that they might be in talks. This might be in the works, and Nemesis might just be headed to the LCS after all. And I really think it makes a ton of sense for both teams. I think Nemesis would be a clear upgrade over Jiizuke. I think it would really help the team out, and I think it would be a perfect opportunity for Nemesis to prove himself on a pretty good team, but not a great team. It would not be a bad situation for him at all, because I know he's definitely gotten offers from a lot of bad teams that would maybe be risks in his career, like going to Dignitas or something like that. But Evil Geniuses is solid enough to where if he performs well, this team can do some damage. They can win some games, and it could really be a great move for his career moving forward, if he is willing to come to North America, because again, that's crazy. Not everyone is necessarily down for that. But Evil Geniuses also has some money to throw around too, so I'm sure he'd be getting paid all right. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. Do you think Nemesis is coming to Evil Geniuses? Do you think he's just trolling with this tweet? Do you think Nemesis should want to come to Evil Geniuses? Do you think Evil Genius should want Nemesis? I know there's some debate between Jiizuke and Nemesis. I don't know. Jiizuke has a lot of fans and stuff out there. But yeah, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay updated on my latest content. Remember to check out Draft Buff. I would appreciate a ton, and so would they. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.